Every family office, whether it manages 50 million or 5 billion, runs on the same 7 components. Hi, I'm Christopher Nelson. I spent 10 years studying how the ultra wealthy manage their wealth, and then I built my own family office from scratch. Most people assume you need hundreds of millions to justify a family office. You don't. You need the right structure, and in this video, I'm breaking down all 7 components and showing you how each one scales for somebody with $1 million to $30 million so that you can start managing your wealth like a business, not a side project. Before we get into the components, let's define what a family office actually is. A family office is a dedicated business built around a family's wealth. Its job is to manage investments, coordinate tax strategy, protect assets, and make sure the wealth outlasts the people who built it. Now, there are 3 types of family offices, and understanding the difference matters. Number 1, the single family office. This is the traditional model. One family, one dedicated team, full staff, investment managers, tax strategists, estate attorneys, accountants, all on the payroll. These typically require $100 million or more in assets, and the annual overhead can run anywhere from $500,000 to over $2 million a year. Now, number 2 is the multifamily office. This is where a firm serves multiple families under one roof, shared resources, shared staff. The minimum is usually $30 to $50 million to get in the door if you can find one willing to take you. But here's the trade-off. You're a client of a firm, not the CEO of your own operation. You have less control, less customization, and your priorities compete with the other family's priorities. Now, number 3 is the one most people have never heard of, the microfamily office. This is the lean family office designed for individuals and families with $1 million to $30 million investable net worth. Instead of a full-time team, you use fractional experts who plug into your system. Instead of massive overhead, you leverage technology. And instead of being a passive client, you step into the role of what I call portfolio CEO. Same principles as a $500 million office, scaled execution for your level, but they all run on the same 7 components. Let me walk you through each one. Component number 1 is vision. Every business starts with a purpose, and your family office is no different. Vision is the foundation. It answers the question, why does this wealth exist? What is it for? Where is it going? This is where you define your legacy statement. That's your why. Why are you building this? What do you want this wealth to do for your family over the next 10, 20, 50 years? You also define your values charter, the principles that guide how decisions get made, and then your investment thesis, your philosophy on how wealth should be grown and preserved. These are not aspirational feel-good documents. They're operational infrastructure. When a new investment opportunity shows up, your vision tells you whether it fits or not. When a family member has a question about money, your values charter has the answer. Without vision, you're making financial decisions in a vacuum. With it, every decision has a filter. Now, component number 2 is structure. Structure is how your portfolio is designed. And this is where most people's wealth looks like a junk drawer. Oh, I have a brokerage account here, a 401k there, maybe some real estate, dabbling of crypto, all of it disconnected. No intentional architecture. In a family office, structure means designing the portfolio architecture that organizes everything you own into categories with a purpose. Growth assets, things like stock, private equity, venture capital, that builds wealth over time. Income assets, things like covered call ETFs, dividend stocks, private credit funds. These generate cash flow. And capital preservation assets, bonds, cash, treasuries, gold that protect what you've built. And then you layer in an investment policy. Your portfolio's operating manual. It defines your target allocations across those categories, your risk tolerance, and your rebalancing rules. It's the difference between making investment decisions based on gut feeling and making them based on a system. Most people think they have a balanced portfolio, but when they actually map it out, they're 80% growth with almost no income generation. Structure makes that visible and fixable. Component number 3 is protection. This is the component that shields your wealth from unnecessary taxation and legal exposure. And this is where the two-company architecture comes in. To start with, you have a holding company. We call it the vault. This is where your assets live, investments, real estate, passive income. It holds and protects your assets. And then you have a management company. We call it the engine. This handles your active operations in your microfamily office. It generates income, captures tax deductions, and creates the operational backbone of the business. This is the same architecture that all institutional family offices use. It separates what you're protecting from what you're operating. But the two-company setup isn't just about organization. It's about what becomes possible once the structure exists. When income flows through the engine, it's now operating inside of business. And businesses can do things an individual can't. It can run deductions against that income in ways that aren't available to you personally. That's where the deduction stack comes in. It's a systematic approach to tax optimization that has 7 levels. When implemented properly, the tax savings alone can far exceed the cost of running the entire family office. And this is what people don't consider. They hear me say, oh, my microfamily office cost me around $25,000 a year to operate, but they don't think about the multiples of that I'm saving every year from the deduction stack alone. Now let's move to component 4, process. This is the one that many people overlook, and it might be the most important. Process is the operating system of your family office. It's how the business runs day to day. Bookkeeping rhythms, document management, cash management, tax planning cadence. Here's the mental model. Think of it as a pyramid. At the base, you have bookkeeping, clean books. On top of that, documents and compliance, then tax management, then cash management, then protection. And at the top, portfolio decisions. Everyone wants to live at the top of the pyramid, picking investments, growing the portfolio. But without the base, you're operating on a house of cards. You can't optimize taxes if your books are a mess. And you can't make informed portfolio decisions if you don't know your cash position. You can't properly deploy capital if you don't have allocation targets across the 3 asset categories. And here's the distinction that separates a business from a hobby. A business has documented processes that can be taught, delegated, scaled, and passed down. A hobby depends on one person's memory and attention. If everything about your wealth lives in your head, you don't have a business. You have a job that you created for yourself. And if something happens to you, everything goes off the rails. Now, the good news, once the process is built, the monthly CEO time is about an hour. And the stress that you're a single point of failure disappears. All right, now on to component 5, data. Data is how you know whether your family office is performing up to par or not. There are 2 scoreboards that you monitor. Scoreboard 1 is portfolio performance. This is exactly what you're thinking. Market returns, asset growth. It's the thing most people obsess over. But in a family office, scoreboard 2 is also crucial. It monitors your business effectiveness. Are your books reconciled? Is your tax strategy being executed? Are your processes running? Is your operational cadence being met? Here's the thing. You have limited control over market performance, but you have full control over business effectiveness. And a well-run business is what drives sustainable, repeatable performance over time. Think of it like a restaurant. A restaurant's performance is measured by revenue, but how many people are coming through the door? How much they're spending? But its effectiveness is measured by what's happening in the kitchen. Food safety, inventory management, staff training. A kitchen can have a great month of revenue while the kitchen is falling apart. But that's not sustainable. Eventually, the kitchen catches up to you, and your family office works the same way. Great portfolio returns with poor operations underneath is a ticking time bomb. And if you want to avoid that ticking time bomb, you need component 6, advisory partners. You're not building this alone, but you're also not handing it off and taking a back seat. Advisory partners is about assembling a coordinated team of fractional experts who execute within your strategy. A certified tax planner for proactive tax strategy, not just filing, but forward-looking planning. A CPA or bookkeeper for financial operations. An estate attorney for legal structure. and potentially a financial advisor, but as a specialist on your team, not the CEO of your wealth. The key word here is coordinated. Most people have an advisor over here, a CPA over there, an attorney somewhere else, and none of them talk to each other. In a family office, these people work as a team. You're the one who coordinates them. That's the portfolio CEO role. And here's something that shifts the way you think about hiring. Most people see advisors as an expense. But when you hire a tax planner who saves you $30,000 to $50,000 a year against a cost of $9,000, that's not an expense. That's a 10 to 25x return on investment. You're not spending money, but you're buying capacity to level up. And this newfound capacity is what enables you to focus on the final piece of the family office, which is governance. Governance is the capstone. It's the decision-making framework that ties everything together. Who decides what? How are major financial decisions made? How is the family involved? What's the cadence for reviewing the strategy? And this is where it gets generational or doesn't. 70% of wealthy families lose their wealth by the second generation, 90% by the third. Governance is how you ensure your family wealth doesn't become part of that statistic. Governance is the operational rhythm, monthly reviews, quarterly strategy sessions, annual planning, combined with family alignment, making sure the next generation understands the business, has a role in it, and is prepared to carry it forward. And this component is something that you cannot delegate. You can delegate bookkeeping, you can delegate tax filing, but strategic decision-making and family governance, that's the CEO's job always. So these are the 7 components: vision, structure, protection, process, data, advisory partners, governance. And here's what I want you to take away from this. Most people with $1 million to $30 million are in what we call a service desert. They're too complex for retail financial services, but they're also too small for a single family office or a multifamily office. The industry was not built to serve them. A microfamily office closes the gap. And the shift isn't about becoming a financial expert. It's about becoming the CEO of a business, the business of managing your wealth. You already have the operational skills. If you can manage a team, operate a business, or manage a P&L, you can run a family office. You're applying skills you already have to a new domain. Now, if you have between $1 million and $30 million in net worth and you want to start managing your wealth like a business, I would love to have you at our next live workshop. It's a 2-hour interactive session on building the foundation for your microfamily office. We're going deep on components 1 and 2 that we just covered. You'll leave the workshop with a legacy statement, investment thesis, and portfolio structure tailored to your goals. At the time of recording this, we've had over 1,400 people attend the workshop. Head to wealthops.io/go or click the link below this video to register. Our next workshop is likely just in a few days. After you register, you should check out this video on the evergreen portfolio structure that we'll cover in the workshop. See you there.